Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day. I'm excited to be here. How's your week been?
It's been great.
Yeah?
Thank you. Yes, an article came out that I was interviewed for.
Yes.
It's Undark, and it's about the professional area in which I work as an attorney.
Yeah.
And I sort of came out about my personal life in this article. And so my professional colleagues were calling me and emailing and texting. Oh, Ginger. Well, they call me Virginia. As a lawyer, I'm Virginia.
Right.
But yeah, I've been Ginger all my life. So anyway, that was exciting. It was very
How do you feel?
exposed.
Yeah,
and
vulnerable.
vulnerable.
Of
Yes.
course.
But last week we talked about how I will be vulnerable and authentic, which is what we want for this podcast to sort of, lead the way for those of you who are willing to follow the step process of snapping out.
Well, I first want to say, if you are interested in reading this article, it is linked below. So check it out. It's a really good read.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, and read the last 3 paragraphs especially.
Absolutely,
I mean,
yes.
if you don't do anything else, look at my picture.
There's some excellent
that
quotes.
Alex took, and then read the last 3 paragraphs. It's really sweet.
It is.
I mean, I was honored that they concluded with a quote that I had given.
And it's incredible. They did a great job. It was really well written.
And we quoted it last week in our
yes.
first episode.
Yes.
So read the article.
Yes.
Triple threat.
Yeah.
We are excited about the use of the term triple threat. Do you know what a triple threat is?
I think I do, but let's give us the definition. Let's hear it.
In theater, what is a triple threat?
A triple threat is someone that can dance, act, and sing.
Correct.
Okay.
Aren't you a triple threat?
That's very generous.
You are.
I
Excuse me, I've seen you act.
Okay.
I've seen you dance.
Yeah.
I have heard you sing.
Yeah, okay. So yes, I guess I could be labeled as that.
A triple threat.
A triple threat.
Okay. Well, so I am a triple threat as follows.
Yeah.
I'm a dancer, psychologist, and lawyer. So we thought it'd be a fun play on words. And
it is.
I constantly use terminology from theater in my practice of law. Someone said to me the other day, "Why are you so theatrical?" Because I was jumping up and down. We talked about it last week in front of a room full of 400 certified family law specialists. I didn't care.
Incredible.
But last night I went to another event. It was a Beverly Hills Bar Association. Meet the family law judges.
Oh.
All the players were there. Celebrity attorneys, all of it, right?
I did not know they hold socials like that. That's
Well, they did. And this is my first time going to a Beverly Hills Bar Association fancy dinner, right? And so there was a judge there who's formerly a cheerleader like I.
Really?
And so we practically jumped up and down together. But he's a really great teacher. So I want to give you the takeaway from speaking with this particular judge. One of the things that he's known for is his series. I won't say what it is exactly, but a series where the listener or the audience walks away remembering what he taught. You know how when you go to a seminar and they drone on and on and on and PowerPoint after PowerPoint, and you leave and you're like, that was a great seminar, but I have no idea what they said, right? I mean, it happens to me all the time.
Of course.
So my goal, especially with this podcast, is for every episode for the listener, you, to take away the step. And step is another term of art and dance, right? Step by step. Yeah. So that we're not blowing through the steps on how to snap out of limiting beliefs, but we are spending one episode at a time with each step so that the person following and listening, the audience members, actually learn and take away from it. So that's what made this particular judge very effective when he teaches his courses.
Oh, okay.
But I drew the parallel for him and I said, look, part of the reason why you were so effective is because you're formerly a cheerleader, an exhorter.
100%.
You want the audience to learn.
Yeah.
Right? So when a teacher, and I have experience teaching, when a teacher encourages the audience, and I have experience cheerleading, they really want the listener to learn and walk away. So my goal in this podcast, as we discussed last week, is for you to experience freedom and to give specific steps and application for obtaining the freedom. So I'm going to pivot with you now, Alex.
Oh, okay. Let's pivot. Let's do it.
Right. So originally, as I was putting the curriculum together, I had step 1. However, prior to step 1, a person needs to want to snap out of limiting beliefs. And that's not even part of my step 1 that I shared with you earlier.
So it's like a pre-step.
Right. So
really, you can't take the steps until this.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, and you know what? When you're counting in dance, sometimes there's a movement. Usually you count to 8, right?
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you know from watching shows, you hear 5, 6, 7, 8. And you start, right? Well, in certain choreography, depending on what decade you're in,
Yeah.
there could be a step or a movement on and one,
Oh,
and one,
totally.
and two, right?
Yeah.
So this is the and.
This is the and before
And.
the count.
Correct.
Yes.
Right. And also from the top is always fun to say,
Yes, from
right?
the top. Yeah.
And from the top,
Uh-huh.
right? Okay. So going on with the and.
Yes,
So
we're on the and.
there has to be a desire. So I've thought a lot about using experience from my own experience, strength and hope, to come up with the and, to come up with the what's the first thing before the first step, and that is a desire. So I'm going to pull a page from the 12-step program,
Okay.
and so I know that 12-step program does not publish, and they're not vocal about the steps, but I mean, you can Google the steps and you figure out what they are, right?
sure.
So the first step is admitted we were powerless over blank.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and as a psychologist, I have a bachelor's in psychology, a master's in psychology. I have training in psychology. So I will bring in psychological terms during this podcast. I'm not professing to be an expert. I'm not offering psychological advice, legal advice, or any of that. But just bringing my experience to the table brings a new element, I think, or a different element. So
Yes.
the desire, the need to change, and it is said that sometimes people won't change unless they're suffering pain or they want to experience love.
Really? Okay.
That's what I have heard in some of my research and some of my experience.
Okay.
All right. So generally in the 12-step program, a person says, I admit that I'm powerless over whatever it is.
Okay.
And then the second part of that is my life has become unmanageable.
Okay. Okay.
So that would be the pain
Yeah. Okay.
that motivates someone to change. And so in order to really have effective change, a person has to want it. And the reason I came up with this and before the one is a fabulous friend of mine who I've known for 20 years contacted me the other day. And this person needs to snap out of a relationship very badly. It's an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
However, and I can certainly give her the steps and encourage her through it, but she's got to want to change. And I said to her, do you want to change? And she wasn't hurting because of his behavior. She was wanting to stay with him. And so there's no way that she can affect change unless she really wants it.
Okay. Yeah.
And so this is a repeat cycle for her. She was in this relationship years ago. It ended. She let him back in.
Okay.
All right. So the question as to whether she's going to be successful this time is whether or not she truly wants to change, because people cycle in repetitive behaviors that indicate they're in some sort of jail.
Correct.
Right? Prison. If their mind. Okay. So that's my pivot. And I did take some notes because I want to share also that this is not just a teaching curriculum.
Okay. Yeah.
This podcast is an interactive podcast.
Yeah.
So what we're going to be doing is looking at your comments and addressing people's comments or questions. Well, wait a minute. What about this? What about this scenario? Whatever, as we go, because as a teacher, I'm also an encourager or an exhorter, and I want the listener, the viewer, to really have a takeaway, something valuable from this podcast, which makes it a little bit different than others where the person presenting goes through a list of 5 to 7 things. Do this, 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 and this. Well, that's great. And the world moves really fast.
Yeah.
But let me just take it back to a dance analogy. When you're learning the waltz, you learn step by step, and you have to practice very slowly at the beginning. Sometimes it's frustrating.
Yeah.
In order to get the step down before you can actually speed up.
Yeah.
And so in this case, we're dragging out one episode at a time will be this particular step and talking about it and helping the viewer have an ability to apply. Does that make sense?
And if I can tie it into dance again,
Yes.
we will be marking
Yes.
until the end where we will go full out.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
I also want to say, so what you said resonates with me because, as you know, I had shared with you that over a year ago, almost 2 years ago now, I put myself through a really intense self-development program.
Yes.
Where at the very beginning, there was 12 of us
Okay.
that were in this program. And from the very first day, the creator of this program, the leader of this whole thing said, part of this is you can only stay in the program if you keep up and participate, because that will show that you actually want this. Because
Yes.
you can't have change, like you said, without first really wanting it.
That's right.
And By the end of the program, there was only 4 of us left.
Ooh, that's like law school. Look to your left,
Totally.
look to your right. They won't be here.
Yeah,
That's just true too. So the desire.
It's the desire, yeah.
Okay, and I always tell my clients when they call me, if you want me to represent you, I'm going to be fighting like a drowning person, gasping for air, for you to have a relationship with your children, to be able to maintain the blah, blah, blah. Similarly, you have to fight for your life like a drowning person, gasping for air, if you really want to change.
Yeah.
And would you say that you held on to that particular program as though your life depended on it?
Yeah, with everything I had. It was the most challenging thing I've ever been through. And as you know, people listening don't, but as you know, on the other end of that, I am a completely changed person, and my life is better for it.
But it's very scary.
It
can be very scary. Let's just acknowledge that now. And so we're going to be there every step of the way for you, because we do want you to be able to snap out of limiting beliefs, to feel the joy and the peace that's on the other side. I'm in a horrible storm right now, Alex.
Oh my gosh.
I'm in another dark night of the soul.
Okay.
Horrible storm, and I'm using the tools and the techniques that we'll be sharing in this podcast to get me through it, and I do feel joy and peace now. So I'm actually waltzing now, but when I developed the steps and went through it myself, it was very long, drawn out, and painful. And so now I know kind of what's coming down the pike, and I know how to deal with it, and I can actually feel joy and pain concurrently while it's happening. So I also want to say that this isn't a linear process.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah.
And this isn't the only way.
For sure. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This is a way. Okay. The first thing I want to say also with regard to the and, we're still on the and, not even step 1 yet. While I was contemplating how to share this part, I want to say that if a person is in the 5 stages of grief because of the situation in which they find themselves, that those stages really need to be walked through in order to effectively get to the other side as well.
So that's part of the and.
That's part of the and it's part of how to get to the desire to change, right? So the pain, people change with pain, people change with love, right?
So for those that don't know, what are the 5 stages of grief?
Well, so the first stage of grief is denial. Oh, this isn't happening to me. I can't believe it. The I can't believe it is the biggest part. And wrapping a person's mind around the fact that this did indeed happen, bad things happen to good people, that's part of being a human being on the planet, would be the first stage. Now, I didn't come up with these stages of grief. I don't know who to credit them with, but it's just from my psychological learning and training.
Yes.
Okay. The second stage is anger. So an anger as an emotion is very powerful because there is a sense of control or righteous anger that a person can feel, which gives them power and a feeling of being, I guess, in control. So generally underneath anger is a deep sadness, or you can find sadness under anger. And that's the one that people don't want to access because that could, lead to depression and other types of less feeling in control behaviors or emotions, less feeling in control emotions. Okay. After the denial and anger phases comes bargaining.
Oh, okay.
Where the person experiencing grief, because grief is a really difficult emotion to experience.
Truly. Yeah.
So bargaining, and that's where people bargain with their higher power or bargain with the person with whom they have broken ties or bargain with themselves. So the stages of grief really need to be walked through, but it doesn't have to happen prior to step 1, right? It doesn't have to, but I just want to point out that unless and until a person comes to terms with the fact that this did happen, so you're no longer in denial, you can be mad about it, which is completely a valid response to a horrible situation. Then a person can bargain, but that's not going to necessarily take you to the end of the road. So after bargaining is depression, and the last stage is acceptance. So if you feel as though you are in a dark hole and depressed, this is an encouragement for you to get mental health help, okay? Yeah. If you are unable to get out of bed or take a shower or eat or care for oneself, then that means that's a call for help. So I encourage anyone that's going through grief to have support, either through one person as a support system that helps the grieving party get through it, or a therapist, or 911, however it takes to protect oneself. and you need to know if you're going into a depression, how to get through it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because not all sadness leads to depression, but that's a very serious
Mhm.
issue to take seriously. So
Yeah.
I encourage you to get help and have support with regard to depression.
I have a question about bargaining real quick.
Yes.
So is bargaining, does that also mean it's also rationalizing, like when you're trying to make sense of a situation? Does that fall into bargaining?
It can.
Okay.
So rationalizing would be, well, this happened because, is that what you mean?
Yeah, so I think specifically, like, I think the 5 stages of grief, probably the easiest way for someone to relate to this is when they've lost someone.
Okay,
Like a death,
so
right?
death.
Let's
Okay,
use that
that's
as
a
an
good one.
example.
Right.
If someone that you are very close to has passed away, as someone who's experienced this myself, I feel like when I got to the bargaining stage of grief, it was more like trying to justify what's happened.
Yes.
A little, it's like
Make sense of
make
it.
sense of it in my head.
Right,
Is that
right.
what falls under bargaining?
It
Is
can.
That, okay,
Yes. That's
okay.
so this isn't like a clear-cut stage.
Okay.
It can have different facets, like everything.
Yeah.
So one way a person can try to rationalize the death or the bad experience is, why me?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. That's a big one. Yeah.
So I learned, and I practice this, that when I'm tempted to say, why me? Then I change that expression to why not me?
Oh, it really changes your thought pattern when you do that.
Right. It reframes everything. And so we have a whole episode on framing, using the mind to frame a problem, frame a conversation, to influence whatever. So we'll go into that. But the reframe is a great way of getting out of the rationalization or bargaining phase. Why not me? What made me so special that I shouldn't have to go through A, B, and C and look at all the other people in the world who've experienced D, E, and F that's much worse? So let's put it into perspective.
Yes.
And then the last phase is acceptance.
Yeah.
And that's really a place where the change can occur. Because once a person accepts that their loved one has passed, or that the relationship is over, or that I admit that I'm powerless over such and such, I accept it, then they're ready for help.
Then step 1 can come into play.
That's right. So this is the and. And so, Alex, again, this is not the only way. This is a way. But what I am hoping that the listener and the viewer is able to take away is tools, like tools in a toolbox.
Okay, yeah.
So with a certain problem, you use a hammer or you use a scalpel.
Yeah.
Or, you know what? Let's think of a dance analogy.
Oh, yeah.
Pivot, pirouette.
Pot of beret away.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Pot beret away.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh my gosh. If you're in a toxic relationship, pot beret away.
Pot beret away,
You can't
baby.
pivot or you can't pirouette. You're doing a pirouette symbol. Do it again.
Oh, I did this.
That's a pirouette.
You're right, that's...
Okay, a pot beret. I'll show you. We'll do a video of me dancing in a business suit, right? Okay, but I want to go back to once a person has accepted and is willing to admit that they need to change, right? Whatever is the catalyst, make up your mind and do it. Okay, how do you do that? How do you make up your mind? You decide. Part of deciding to make a change, and this still isn't step 1, this is still the preamble,
Okay.
is to radically accept yourself.
That is a very challenging thing for a lot of people.
Radically love yourself so much that you don't allow anyone to speak ill of you to you. You don't let your brain, and we're going to get into identifying false beliefs. That's step 1, by the way. So accepting oneself and loving oneself that there is zero tolerance for any negativity or unforgiveness.
Internal or external.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
It's huge. And I feel like even though I feel like me personally, I'm at a really good spot with language towards myself, but I'm still human. Like I still have moments
happens.
where I'm like, what were you thinking, Alex? Like, come on.
So there's the language that we tell ourselves when we're by ourselves, and then there's the language that we tell ourselves when there's a significant other, because then we have our committee going in our head. So we're going to start with just ourselves.
Okay.
But then we expand that and widen the lens.
Yeah.
To, well, what is he thinking
Yeah,
about what I'm doing? And I have a story to share about that. Go
I'm
ahead.
glad that we're taking it step by step because there's a lot to cover. And
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about the importance of surrounding oneself with support. So, Alex, before anyone does anything, they need to have at least one person to help them through it. One person.
Okay.
I don't want anyone doing this alone.
Yeah. An accountability
That's all it
partner.
takes. Yes, if you want to put a label on it. Because accountability partner is stressful. Like, I don't want an accountability partner. Oh my gosh, they're going to be checklisting if I did it right. No,
Right.
support. Okay, here's
Support
what
is
they need to be: a witness.
Oh,
And that's a
okay.
legal term. But witness is okay. So Chase Hughes, shout out to Mr. Hughes, does a fantastic podcast. And some of his material I am going to give credit to him, but we will be talking about throughout this. Talks about having a witness to help a person through their emotions. Now, this is podcast later down the line about identifying emotions and feeling them. But when that time comes, a person needs to witness, be with you. Just be with you, not accountable and you didn't do this right or whatever, but just sit there. So if you wail or you need someone to pat your head
Yeah.
or put their arms around you, you've got someone. No judgment, no comments, no communication, someone with you, right? And Mr. Hughes calls it a witness.
Could be an understudy, someone that's
Oh yeah, I love that. Right. I love that. Okay. Then I have an analogy about mountain climbing.
Okay, I love an analogy. Hit me.
Okay. So let's say you want to climb. Have you seen those movies where someone's climbing a mountain and they get to the top and their like arms are in the air and like, da-da, they made it.
Yep.
And they feel so free.
Yeah.
And they
Oh,
can
yeah.
see with a different perspective.
Yes.
Well, that's what we're doing.
Okay.
So when a person snaps out of limiting beliefs and experiences freedom,
Yeah.
that feeling of being on a mountaintop,
Yeah.
looking at one's kingdom that was conquered,
Yeah. Yeah.
is so rewarding.
Yeah.
And there's joy and there's peace and there's authenticity
Yeah.
because you did it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this journey is going to be like climbing a mountain. Okay, do you know what a Sherpa is?
A Sherpa?
Yes.
It's an article of clothing, right?
Okay, so Google says Sherpas are a Tibeto-Nepalese ethnic group known for their high altitude expertise.
I apologize for thinking that it was an article.
Well,
of
it might
clothing.
be. It sounds like a shoe or something.
I was like a shawl. I'm getting it confused, but okay, this makes sense.
Okay, but no, I can see how it would seem like an article of clothing.
Oh, funny.
Known for their high altitude expertise, serving as an essential guide and porter for mountaineering, Himalayan mountaineering.
Okay.
Originating from Tibet, they settled in Nepal, holding a distinct culture, Tibetan Buddhist faith, and a lifestyle geared toward farming, trade, and tourism. Their role is crucial for safely navigating high-risk mountaineering routes. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Right. Okay. So also in my past, I have I memorized a lot of scripture,
Okay.
Alex.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite verses is, "He makes my feet as hinds' feet to walk in high places."
Wow.
Now, a hind is like a deer or something walking in a craggly mountain high place. Okay.
Which they can do very effortlessly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's risky.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Not everyone does it.
Yeah. Not
Okay.
everyone can do it. Yeah.
Right. So that's one of my self-talks, especially when I'm
Okay.
going to court, because in court it's super tricky.
Okay.
You never know what the other side's going to throw at you.
Yeah.
Your Honor, blah, blah, blah. And you have to pivot. You have to remember that your feet are like hinds' feet walking in high places. Sorry about that. Your feet are like hinds' feet walking in high places, and you can achieve the goal of not slipping and falling. Okay. So if you're going to mountain climb and get to a place of liberty and freedom, don't you want to have someone who's done it before and guiding you along the way so you don't hit an avalanche or like your rope falls,
100%.
right? Okay,
Yes.
so we're going to kind of be Sherpas for you.
Which would give me, in that situation, such peace of mind.
Exactly.
So that is what you're offering here.
Right.
Some peace of mind along the way.
Yes, and we'll check the weather.
Yeah.
We'll map the thing. We'll have a
Yes.
base camp. You'll have your gear. You'll wear your Sherpa.
Yeah.
Make sure you wear your
Thank
Sherpa. Okay. In addition, Alex, on the and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, sometimes there's an extra pause. So there might be and 1, right?
Yep.
So this pause indicates, well, first of all, let's review. What is the and?
The end is the before. It's the prep. It's
Right,
the
it's the
pre-step.
decision that you're going. You're
Yeah.
gonna you are ready to change. You've either suffered pain, you want to change for love. There's change coming. Change is coming.
There's acceptance, and you're ready for change.
That's exactly right. Okay. Now a person needs to have stability. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a tendency for all of us after experiencing some sort of a life transition or trauma to feel out of body. There's an out of body sense of dissociation,
Okay.
and that's a psychological term. It means a person's not in their body anymore. They use a kind of state in order to not experience the pain, not feel the pain. And we're going to go into all about how to get back in your body and feel the emotions and walk you through it. We're going to walk you through everything.
It's like going on autopilot.
It's
almost.
autopilot.
Okay.
It's the unconscious. So you're doing things that you have no idea what you've done. You're driving somewhere and you can't remember how you got there,
Okay,
right?
got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So dissociation is a psychological term that literally means that a person dissociates or checks out, right? They're in a dissociative state. So a great example would be if a person's experiencing extreme physical trauma and has to like leave their body mentally in order to endure the trauma. And that's a survival skill.
Oh, right.
It's a good skill to have. However, once it no longer serves us, and the dissociation means that we're unable to connect to someone, maybe there's a new love interest, but you're just not able to connect because you've been dissociating for so long.
Yeah.
It's time to get stability and to get into one's body and to be able to be more grounded and so no longer in a dissociative state.
Got it. Okay.
It doesn't mean everyone's dissociating, but it is a very human characteristic to dissociate. And I'll talk more about how people dissociate their emotions and their thoughts in order to get through daily life, and it happens with almost everyone. So I can't say anyone's exempt from that.
Okay.
I wouldn't say full-blown dissociation, like psychologically,
Yeah.
a full-blown dissociative state, but everyone uses these skills and techniques to survive. Okay, Alex, so with regard to stability, from my graduate program, I learned about a psychologist named Maslow. Abraham Maslow created something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And the best way to share this is the use of a pyramid, which he uses. And so the very bottom of the pyramid, which is the foundation, is that a person's physiological needs need to be met. A person needs to be fed. They need to have sufficient water. They need rest. Their body needs to be taken care of. And so that's part of the and before step one.
Okay.
Right?
It's the foundation.
Exactly. And physiological needs are so basic that many of us as adults don't consider taking care of ourselves physiologically
Okay.
as we go about our day. How much water have you had to drink today?
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you. I don't even think about that.
Right. We all know what we're supposed to do. Everyone knows what we're supposed to do. Water, healthy food, exercise,
Clean
sufficient,
air.
right, good air, sleeping well enough, eliminating as much stress as possible. But how many of us do it?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So if we're really going to affect change with our bodies, if we really want to snap out of the limiting beliefs, the first thing we start to do is take care of ourselves. And this circles back to radical love of ourselves.
Yeah.
If I really love myself, I'm going to eat my lunch. I'm going to not skip lunch again because I'm working crazily through the day.
Right.
And so if I'm putting myself first and really caring for my physiological needs, then that is part of the and before we actually move into the first step of snapping out of limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
And a person might think, oh, well, that doesn't matter. It's less important. I just want to move forward, barrel forward through it. But guess what? If you don't have the solid foundation, when you build a house, do you have to have a good solid foundation before you build your house?
Yeah.
Right,
absolutely.
exactly. So, okay, the next level is safety needs. In fact, let me go through the levels, okay?
Oh, perfect, yeah.
All right, so we have the very foundational level is physiological needs, and that is biological needs, drinking water, sleeping, eating, etc. Safety needs. So again, if a person is in a depressive state, then they need help, or in an abusive relationship where their safety, physical safety, emotional safety is at risk, the safety needs need to be handled before a person can actually move forward toward freedom with regard to what we're talking about on this podcast. The next level is love and belongingness, which is an essential need for everyone.
Yeah.
And so Maslow included that in his hierarchy. The next level up, and generally people get to the third level.
Oh,
okay?
really? Okay.
People generally have their physiological needs met, they have
Okay.
their safety needs met, and they have love and belongingness met. That is where the average number of people reside because people are walking around looking for relationships, trying to maintain their relationships.
Okay, yeah.
Now let's move up the hierarchy to the last two, which is self-esteem and self-actualization. It's very rare to get to self-actualization. A person has to really work to be able to achieve that level where one is self-actualized. But let's go to self-esteem. So many of us operate on the planet with a self-esteem that has been damaged in some way.
Totally.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's just par for the course, being a human being again. So that's a different, outside the scope of this podcast, but self-esteem issues can always be worked on.
Yeah.
Finally, self-actualization is the tip of the hierarchy. It's the tip of the pyramid. And that just means a person is really at peace with himself, at peace with the world, feeling love toward the planet. And a lot of religions try to achieve self-actualization through their specific religious process.
Okay.
Many other types of practitioners try to achieve self-actualization through their process.
Okay. Okay.
We're not doing Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but I bring it up because before you can snap out of limiting beliefs and live in freedom, you need to have your physiological needs met.
Okay.
You need to be safe. And then we'll move into love and belongingness as part of this podcast.
I love that.
So also, this style of teaching
Mm-hmm.
might be challenging for the viewer. Why? Because this podcast is for adults. I mean, obviously, young people and people who are still young adults are more than welcome to watch it, and we hope that you do, because we want you to live a life of freedom without chains and years and decades of having to break out of those limiting beliefs. But generally, adults want an agenda before they will participate. You can't generally get an adult's attention at the beginning of a presentation unless you set the agenda from the top.
From the top.
Right, let's take it from the top.
Yeah, take it from the top.
So I'm going to tell you right now, you don't get an agenda.
Okay.
Okay. So when I taught high school psychology, when I taught the Bay Area Psychological Association as an attorney, but I was teaching psychologists in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And through all of my teaching, I generally set an agenda with the audience.
Okay.
In this case, it is so important to me and to us to make sure that the viewer takes something from this podcast of value.
Yeah.
That we're going to walk through it. And because we're not setting an agenda, since we don't know exactly what questions are going to come in, we can't tell you from point A to point Z how this is going to go down. And I do this with my clients as an attorney. My clients will ask me a question on an area in which I have achieved quite a bit of expertise and wins.
Yeah.
Many wins. Mostly wins.
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty much all wins.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. In the particular area.
Yes.
Okay. Well, what about this? What if this happens? And my answer is, I don't know. Well, how can you not know? Aren't you an expert in this particular area? And yada, yada. And my answer is, well, even though this case is not a game, this process is very much like a chess game. And so while a person knows generally the patterns, how to win a chess game, because you can become a chess master if you know the tens of thousands of patterns that a person can use in order to prevail. While I know the patterns in these particular specific types of cases, I'm not exactly sure what my opposing party is going to do when they move their knight to a specific place on the board.
Totally.
So then I have to see what they do in order to win the game.
Yeah.
Okay? So similarly, this podcast is not going to be us just dumping a bunch of information to the viewer.
Right.
It's going to be an interactive podcast where each episode has audience participation and questions. And even after we post the podcast, if further questions come in, we will be actively maintaining, which is something I haven't done in the past.
Okay, yeah.
Generally, when I've been so busy as an attorney, but I am making a commitment to the viewer that for at least a season, a reasonable season, I will be responding to questions that come in through the social media platform and address them. That's my
great.
commitment to the viewer. If the viewer will stick through this with us and commit, because I really do care whether the audience snaps out of it and lives in freedom.
This is great.
And also Sherpas don't just say, go climb that mountain.
Good luck.
Right.
Yeah.
Have fun. Watch out for the avalanche. They go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be going on this process with you and with you. And I encourage you, maybe we'll do an episode where we just do a question and answer.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do that with the attorneys and judges. We'll have a judges panel, and the listeners, the audience can send questions in, and then the judges answer the question. So when I taught the Bay Area Psychological Association, my opposing attorney was watching. He knew I was right. Okay. He knew I was right with regard to the case. He knew
Okay.
that his client was a mess and mine was the person who should have had more justice in the matter. So here's what he did.
What do you do?
Oh my gosh. He had 2 devices that he used his phone and his computer to log in. And at the end of the teaching, I was going to answer questions, right? Okay. So it was so obvious. I mean, like, come on. I'm a psychologist. I can tell.
Yeah.
He turned off one of the devices and made it an anonymous post. And then he asked me questions anonymously as if I didn't know it was him. Right? So what I did is I told him the answer to help him with his client, which was really me I was able to
You didn't call it
achieve.
out, though?
No way. Oh, no
Oh,
way.
no.
No. I did not call him out, but it was a way ethically where he could ask me, what do I do about this, counsel?
Yeah.
He certainly could not violate his duty of zealous advocacy to his client by calling me, asking me, opposing counsel, how to solve a problem.
Right.
But it was great. I mean, it was
Wow.
so obvious that he had turned off his anonymous. And so anonymous posts a question. And I said, and I answered it
Okay.
specifically because it was about our case, exactly what he needed to do.
Wow.
I know. It was so sneaky and great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I
But
love
so
it.
we'll be taking your questions.
Yes, please.
Yes, but don't be anonymous. We won't say your name. I do respect privacy, and as an attorney, I'm crazy
100%.
about confidentiality. And
Yeah.
obviously, I'm not your lawyer. This isn't legal advice. This isn't psychological advice. But I do respect privacy. So if you're sending questions in through social media,
Yeah.
whatever name you want to use is totally fine. But if you do ask a question, I won't be saying that so and so has asked this question.
Yes.
I'll address the question. And I do also encourage you to listen to other people's questions. Here's why.
Oh, yeah.
When you're dancing,
Mhm.
you go to basic ballet classes, even if you're the prima ballerina.
Oh,
You need to know foundational things
right.
in order to progress. And part of dancing and training and rehearsing is doing the basics over and over so you get that muscle memory.
Yep.
Even if you're in a class with beginners, an expert dancer can be in a class with beginners. The class is the same for everyone. The person at the bar, oh, darling, bar.
There it is again.
I didn't even plan that.
Wow.
The bar, the ballet bar,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the bar
In the bar.
with the law.
Yes.
So at the bar, if you hear the instructor tell Johnny to put his shoulders down,
Mhm.
then the person, correct, long neck, shoulders down, the person listening, even if they have been dancing for 20 years, should also long neck,
check
shoulders
themselves.
down. Correct. So that's why I encourage you when you hear a question that wasn't your question, listen anyway, please, because muscle memory. If someone asks something, oh, I already did that. I know how to. I don't think that way about myself anymore. But you know what? We live on a planet where we get to practice certain principles in our everyday life.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do them over and over, even if we think we've learned them. So it's good practice
It is.
to listen to the basics, and what other people have to say can benefit us.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's great.
So that's the and.
That's the and.
And one and two. Let's
here
snap
we go.
out. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We're so excited to have you with us.
Please send us your questions. There's an email address attached to this podcast if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any of them. You'll be able to click on our profile and you can send in your questions that way. We'd love to hear from you. We would love if you could rate, review, and share.
Yes, and go to gingergriffin.com where you can find all of the content. And I do encourage the step-by-step.
Yes.
But feel free. I mean, you're free. You are free to enjoy the content however you want. And it's designed to be able to go one step at a time. But if you're already a waltzer, go.
Then jump right
Twirl.
into one.
Right.
Twirl, baby. Thank you so
That's
much,
a
Ginger.
wrap.
Thank you so much, Ginger. That was great.
Thank you, Alex.
We'll see you next week.
Okay.